Hey guys, how's it going? It's Kire here with another Raid Shadow Legends video. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about Bellower. And I wanted to go over the exact stats required for him to be a quick farmer. And for me, it's 6 seconds. Sometimes, I don't know why it changes on my computer. It can be anywhere from like 6 to 7 seconds. But I wanted to go over the exact stats. And so these stats are overkill for the most part. But there's a couple key things that will make the run a lot easier for you. So here's the stats I got on him here. Big thing obviously is going to be you need 100% crit rate. I highly recommend not just skipping on that. Like you might think 98 or 99 is good. It's not. Like you'll actually hit that 1% quite a bit, and then it's going to really slow down your run. So definitely make sure you have 100% crit rate. And then the big thing too that really helps out. And then crit damage, you always want to prioritize crit damage over attack. I can't stress that enough. The crit damage is going to affect the whole thing instead of just attack affecting this. So you need to have 100% crit rate, and then you want to focus on crit damage over attack damage. Like a lot of people might come into the Great Hall and then want to bump up their attack, where you want to be bumping up your crit damage. Okay, so I'm gonna just do a couple runs without particular masteries and just kind of show you exactly what you need. So like here, this is, minus 20% crit rate, no mastery here, none of these. Oh, here, we'll do this. Just, almost nothing. I'll show you the masteries that actually matter. So this is 20% crit rate lower than what I had currently. And see how he can't kill it. So it significantly makes the run a lot longer. And that's with, here, let me go back to it. So I lowered the masteries. Oh, Jesus. Okay. So then lowered the masteries. We're at plus 178 instead of 198. Masteries are here. And it makes it to where he has to use his A1 on the third wave, and it's not enough to kill. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to go here and we're going to add Cycle of Violence and see we'll see how often it lands so he can use his A2 again, because his A2 hits hard enough to kill consistently. So here, I figured it'd be a good way to highlight how good this mastery is. Okay, and I don't know if it procs on the first wave. I don't know if it procs. So we just had 30% chance on his A2. And so we had a 30% chance on all 4 people there, and it didn't proc. Let's try it again. Let's see if it procs. Let's see how consistent this is. See if it's actually worth going for. Because then you A2 and his A3. And then boom, now see, he just did his A2 again. So that was, the odds, people can probably do the math on it, but I think the odds are pretty good. 30% 3 times or 4 times. Yeah. And so that right there, I think that was just his A1. The damage variance in this game is very high. So it's hard to say. It's hard to say if I can't beat it. So see, there it is again, his A2. So it looks like 50% of the time so far after 4 runs. So it's like pretty good odds to really help out and boost, boost the consistency of your runs. And so there it is again. It seems actually very consistent to just using Cycle of Violence to get his A2 again. So first of all, just keep in mind, you've really got to have that A2 fully booked for this to actually work. So there it goes. It doesn't actually proc. So, when you're farming, like little stuff like this you're going to see this all the time. Like what I've had it to the point where I was doing just 1%, like I had 99% or 98% crit rate. I forget exactly how much. And it would proc all the time because you're doing this over and over and over again. And it not procking is going to do something like this where they survive, and then it makes the run significantly longer. So even though that this is a little trick to make your runs a little bit more consistent or make it to where it actually is fast, I recommend actually you really got to get the gear, because this is going to drive you nuts. Like if you're trying to get a speed farmer and then you need to cheese it with that strat, you just don't have the gear yet, probably going to drive you crazy. But at the same time, it is a good way to where at least it will half your runs, it looks like. Yeah, like about half your runs makes it towards the 6 second. So I do like that. And it makes it a little bit more accessible instead of, needing plus 200% crit rate to do this. So I think I've made my point here. And now let's add back the other masteries and see, I guess now I think actually that really shows a good disparity there. It shows this is not enough. That this is not enough, but plus 20%, I'm able to do it even with my A1. And so, like, for example, I go back to masteries, and then I used to have this. So that's kind of doesn't really do anything. The shield, I've heard that the shield actually delays the animation, so I'm definitely not going to use the shield. I've never used it before, but I'm not going to try. And then the kill streak is useful for sure. Kill streak will help a lot. And then also, obviously, flawless execution. Out of all these 4, flawless execution is the best one. So definitely use that. This stoked to fury doesn't really matter because, you're obviously not going to get debuffed in this situation, but, wouldn't hurt. So I'm going to use just the minimum here, stoked to fury. Oh, here, let's see if this makes a difference. Let's see if my A1 could beat it just with this. Like, let's see how much kill streak actually works. So boom, we got that right there. Because this does literally nothing. This is going to add 12%. So 3% all for each enemy killed. So we're going to kill 4 and 4. So we're going to hit the 12% cap. Let's see how much the damage does. The big thing you'll notice too is when you actually do increase your gear, the damage variance is so high that sometimes like you might go to actually killing them, but then half the time you're going to hit like just as weak as you used to. So even with that 12%, the A1 doesn't kill. So I think that I'm going to run it one more time because of the damage variance, just to make sure. Okay, so see with that damage variance, we never even got close to 20k before kill streak. I think that's what it's called. That's the mastery. And then now we can actually kill with A1. So the kill streak mastery really does come up clutch. Let's run it one more time, just so you can get an idea. And also, we're also seeing that that stoked to that 30% cycle of violence, it really doesn't proc much because that was 3 in a row where we had our A1. So it's nice to have, but it's really not necessary. There's no other better options. Like there's nothing else that's a more consistent option. The other options are just essentially useless. It's like the only option is if someone's dead. Like if your teammates are dead, you do more damage, but what's the point? You're a speed farmer. So now we got 2 kills out of this. So this really does add up. It's not going to get you a consistent rate. It's not going to turn you from not being able to do it to be able to consistently doing it, but it is going to help just a little bit. It's going to make it to where your gear requirements just a little less. So I do like that. Whereas before, it seems like we're doing on average about 2,000 more damage. Just from one mastery. Yeah, boom. Yeah, it's actually pretty consistent. I'm saying like that's been helping us more. That's been more consistent than the cycle to violence mastery. The cycle to violence happens like here and there, even though it's 30% on 4 people. So I think that's kind of a cool way to test it so you can get an idea. And then lastly, we'll run it. We'll put the final mastery in here, which is flawless execution. And then 20% crit damage. That should just be enough. To close it out. And then regardless of however it rolls or whatever, that should be more than enough to beat it. And so he uses A2 there because of that one mastery, which I think is actually really cool. It really helps out a lot. There it is again. Oh, it's winning me over. Because I like to think of this in the sense that if you're farming a 6-star, you're going to do this a ton. That was an A1. That now it's hitting 21k. It wasn't hitting 21k before. So like adding 20% crit damage, because like when I get a new piece, I get really excited. I was like, oh, am I now gonna get a 6-second farmer? And so you can still hit 20Ks with this. So 20% crit damage. You know, I think it like kind of tightens it up, but it doesn't like the high end. It's not really increasing it to like 23, 24K. 29K, but that was his A2. So still the 20K is making it to where it's like a perfect farm. So 23K. So it definitely increased our ceiling by a bit, but not as much as you would think. Because I pretty much look at Lord Shazar as like where I get base my damage, because he's the one that is by far the hardest to kill, because you're in a situation where you're only going to be having your A1 or you're going to have your A2 and it's fine, but you still need pretty good gear to one-shot him when you are when you get to that point. And so like the gear we started with without masteries, like I had like a 170 like plus 170 crit damage. So I mean this definitely still takes a lot of gear. The masteries that actually matter are here. But I think this is actually pretty cool. This is a fun little experiment. I think it broke down a lot of the things that actually matter, the things that don't, how much you can expect certain things to proc when you actually add these masteries. And with that, hope you guys have a good one. And I hope this helps. You guys have a good day. Peace.